So welcome back to Flight Past. My name's Simon. We're on our way to Paris following Napoleon. And if you remember, he's just left Elba. He's on his way to Paris. He's travelled up through the Gulf of Yuan. He's gone to a place called come across the Alps in March. He's reached Grenoble. He's gone to Lyon. He's now just got to Auxerre, and we have just left Fontainebleau, where she spent a night here, and then we're now travelling up the river. We've just got past Melun, and we are now heading on the final stretch here into Paris itself. You can probably see that now on the horizon. As I said, Louis the 18th, he abandons the city on the 19th, evening of the 19th. And there was a really a cool, literally a cool article, a piece of like a newspaper article in the French newspaper of the time, which is called The Monitor. It's indicative of the feelings of the French at the time, both to their feelings towards the Bourbon king Louis XVIII, and also to Napoleon. And the article basically just says, leads off with, it just says, the king and princes left in the night. His Majesty the Emperor arrived this evening at 8 o'clock in his Palace of the Tuileries at the head of the same troops which had been sent to block his route this morning. So it's just a cold, kind of like matter-of-fact, unsensational sort of writing. It's you can tell this country has been in revolution or war for a long time, and they're not really. I think they've lost patience with all of these people. Whoever's in power, they probably just want stability. There's been sarcastic notes that's been written on railings in the Place Vendôme, which said, "Dear." Something like, "Dear Louis XVIII, my good brother, thank you for the troops, but please stop sending me some because I've got enough. Thank you now." In those sort of terms. So yeah, he's leaving. So he's now approaching basically into France. And by this time, because Ney has brought the army over to Napoleon, French government is basically collapsing, and the Allies have decided, that another war is going to be needed to remove Napoleon. So back in. So he's now coming into Paris, and it sounds like from that article as well that some troops have actually been sent to him to stop him, and they've literally sort of just turned it around and escorted him back into the city. And he's heading to this place called the Palace Des Tuileries. It's the royal palace at the time. It's basically the size of the Louvre in Paris, and that's where we're going to go to. A lot of it's not there anymore. I think the Louvre might have been part of it, but we'll have a look when we get there. it got burnt down, I think, in the Revolution of 1863, I believe. Please help me out if you think I've got this wrong. The idea of this stream, by the way, is that I will make mistakes. I'm flying and talking, and so if you do hear anything, then let me know. So the Allies have agreed to oppose Napoleon, and they've decided that they will have to do this with the largest possible force. They had been falling into some disagreements, especially concerning the breakup of Napoleon's empire after his abdication, but they're in no doubt that they needed to stop Napoleon. They were in disagreement about what to do afterwards, so they were already discussing what it was that they wanted afterwards. There was doubts expressed about whether the Bourbon monarchy should be restored again. There was people, especially the Tsar Alexander. He favoured instead going with the Duke of Orleans. But the British, I believe, they were sort of a bit non-committal, I would say. Castlereagh wrote to Wellington on the 16th of March. He was expressing his concern about this crumbling support for Louis the 18th, and he was fearful that the rapid way that the monarch restoration is dissolved, it meant that the British would find it difficult to continue to support the king. And when it got to this declaration that they would, that he was an outlaw, the British actually put in a clause that said it wasn't to be considered as binding to His British Majesty to prosecute the war with a view of imposing upon France any particular government. So they were basically making it obvious that they hadn't decided who would be in control afterwards. Basically, was what that was saying. And I think Austria made a very similar declaration. They wouldn't commit to who would be in charge afterwards. The alternative forms of government to Napoleon, as I say, Alexander and Metternich, who's the Austrian guy, hoped that the Jacobins could be persuaded to overthrow Napoleon so they wouldn't even need a war. But Alexander wasn't enamored, basically, by the Bourbons. He says quite non-committal. He just says, "Oh, if the French wish to see the return of the king, then all's well." The British envoy to the Alexander, he basically wrote to Castlereagh on 15th of April 1815. He said that he was hearing reports that the Tsar, although didn't like republics, felt that a republican government would be weaker and less likely to disturb the peace. So, but at the same time, he says that the Tsar wouldn't want or wouldn't accept a marshal or a general such as Su or Eugene being named and elevated to the throne. He said he would accept the Duke of Orleans, but he didn't feel that Marie-Louise would be suitable. So there's a lot of argument going on about who it is would take over, what sort of government it would be, who would be basically the easiest to manipulate. So here we are, we're in Paris. We've just overflown the Louvre, actually. We could just, I thought I'd just do a loop around Paris. Some of this scenery is photogrammic, but it's taking its time to pop in. And we've got the Arc de Triomphe below us. So this is Paris. This is the date is the 20th of March 1815, and this is the day that Napoleon basically walks back into power. So yeah, the I suppose the Allies are basically arguing over war aims at the moment. They're talking about who would be in charge after the war is over again. The British make it clear that that they had their doubts about the Duke of Orleans being put in charge, that they would probably have to accept that the Bourbon government monarchy would have to be restored again, and they basically said they didn't think that the Duke of Orleans could unite the country together, and that what you'll actually just end up is more of a civil war. So, so they already discussed. There was discussions about whether they could appeal to the French to overthrow their government, but it became more and more increasingly likely that they would have to go to war. And so here is this is the Place de Concorde, which we are just flying over now, and below us is this park called the Parc Tuileries, and you can see up ahead is the Louvre, the museum, and just on our nose now is Notre Dame. Let's take a loop around Notre Dame. I want to come back and talk about Notre Dame soon, because it's part of a Minecraft Blueprints build that we're doing over on the Piraten channel. And so what I will do is we'll just jump out here. Let's pause and jump out. And so we've got Notre Dame and the River Seine and the Louvre, and the Palace of the Tuileries was basically where that where this green park is. As I say, it was burnt down destroyed in the. I probably got it wrong. I think it's 1863. It's the French Revolution, Second French Revolution. But you can see if you look at old drawings of it, it was basically surrounded this park, and I believe the Louvre may have been part of the part of the building. It's almost like a Kremlin style thing. So you can see actually, if I just come down here, that these this, you can see the ruins here. They've planted some trees, but you can see the sort of the outline of the building, and there was different sections and different courtyards of the palace. As you say, it was destroyed, burnt down, but it came all the way along here. You can see, I think these hedges basically represent the building. Actually, you can see probably this part here is part of the building, the old building. And you should see some ruins around the front here as well. Comes all the way around here. So this is the place where Napoleon arrives on the 20th of March. It's about 9 o'clock, and the troops, the faithful troops, hoist him onto their shoulders, and they're carrying him up the steps of the Tuileries Palace, and he's believed to be carried with his eyes closed, his arms outstretched, as if sleepwalking into the building. So that is the journey has been completed. He's now come all the way from Elba. He's arrived in Paris. It's been a journey from the 26th of February. He's arrived here in Paris on the 20th of March, and not one single shot has been fired. And we will then, in the next stream, look at what he does whilst he's in Paris. He's now back in control. He's got some things that he needs to do. How does he behave? He's obviously been threatened, or not, threatened, I would say, yes, by Ney, to be a better leader. And he will send out letters to the heads of state. The Tsar, he'll send it to the king in Britain, appealing, for I suppose clemency, or to appeal to them to accept him back, and whether that was true or not, or whether he wanted that or not. The reaction of the Allies means that he's then really only got one course of action that he can take, and that would be to do what Napoleon does best and go on the offensive, and try to attack his enemies whilst they are weak and off guard. And so in the next stream, that's what we will do. We will look then at the upcoming months of March, April, May of 1815, see what happens, what the preparations are done by both armies, and we'll then be into the nitty-gritty of the campaign itself. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to doing it again. If you like it, please like it, subscribe it, follow it, love it, all that good stuff. And I will see you in the next stream. Now, it might be will probably be maybe on Saturday. I will put a schedule up, but if you miss it, I will break up all these bits and bobs, and I will put it up onto YouTube. Please check out the other channels. You should see bits of, if you're on YouTube, you'll see bits, postcards and things popping up. You'll see there's a channel up there called Iparatum, which is my music channel, and that's the one where we're doing the Minecraft blueprints. I use the Minecraft blueprints to present the music, and we are actually building this cathedral, the Notre Dame Cathedral, in it right now, and we've just come to the end of that build. The videos of the build will be put up over the course of the next few months, and but you can check out, there's a thing called Build Talk. I do one a week, and it has a discussion about it. It's done in a architectural style. It's like a white style on blue background, so it's like those sort of white architectural buildings, and it's also done on a one-to-one scale, so we can compare buildings. So at the moment we've got Notre Dame, and that's next to Salisbury Cathedral, and it's also done so that you can tell when it was built as well. You'll have to go and look at it to appreciate it. So we've almost finished Notre Dame. We are currently just working on this east end, and that's over on the Iparatum channel. So I will see you in the next one then. I hope you're good, and please follow. It's like, how many times do I say that? All right, see you. Goodbye.